Long before the days of games needing to be overproduced, over-budgeted clones of each other that have more cutscenes than actual gameplay, things were a lot simpler. Developers could be more experimental with what they wanted to make, and as long as it wasn't a colossal failure, they didn't have to run the risk of certain doom only after releasing just one. Couple this with gaming still being largely unexplored due to the advent of newer technology, and especially 3D gaming being the newest fad, lots of gamers who grew up around this time can tell you just how truly good we had it. And nothing embodied experimental gaming more than the original PlayStation. From No One Can Stop Mr. Domino, LSD Dream Emulator to Pepsi Man, you didn't need to search very long into its around 7,900 library of games to find something strange, quirky, or unique. And while most of those kind of games were exclusive to Japan, we still got a couple of them that made the trip over to the States. One of those games happens to be credited with giving birth to an entire genre. Releasing in Japan in '96 and then '97 for everywhere else, and developed by Nana Onsha, the original Parappa is said to be the first rhythm game of its kind. And while that's not entirely true with 1987's Dance Aerobics, and Nana Onsha's own Turning Glue predating its debut by a couple of months that same year, Parappa the Rapper is widely considered the progenitor of not only rhythm games but music games as a whole, i.e. the most successful.
Every single day stress comes in every way, and got no time for nobody. My style is rich, though fat and rich. We'll make a cake today that looks rich.
Crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Parappa the Rapper, the great new music video
We're
game.
making us a cake that you've never seen before.
Once you played it, you can't get it out of your head.
The other day, I was called a little turkey.
But I'm a chicken, got it? You beef jerky?
PlayStation.
Parappa the Rapper is a rhythm game and simp simulator that is the brainchild of Masuya Masura, a musician who apparently hated appearing in music videos and turned to interactive software as an alternative outlet. Development started back in 1994, before the release of the PlayStation. During that time, Sony Japan was looking to hit the ground running with their burgeoning console by producing as many games as possible. To accomplish this, there were two divisions made, named internally as Division 0 and Division 1. Division 1 would develop games centered around the more popular genres, whilst Division 0 was tasked with making just whatever. Guess what division Parappa was a part of? Another key figure into making the series what it was is its artist Rodney Greenblatt, who got involved with the project after a producer at Sony suggested that he and Masura work together after both expressed interest in working with the console. Parappa drew inspiration from Paper Mario, as all the characters will also appear in a similar flat graphical style, which makes sense since in Japan Parappa translates into paper thin. After deciding that designing a game based on music is the best move, Masura went through multiple ideas such as having that game be centered around singing or playing the guitar. Masura also decided that the music should heavily focus on vocals, and it was decided that rap would be the genre of choice for this. With all the lyrics written by Masura himself and recorded in New York, Parappa the Rapper was ready for launch. Oh, the game was also one of the first PlayStation games to use in-motion capture in order to portray more realistic movements. So take that info however way you want it.
The unique gameplay developed for the series is named Call and Response, which basically means the instructor will take his turn to call out a pattern of buttons to be mimicked by Parappa once his turn is given. So a game assignment says, to the beat of music essentially, or maybe it's more like a Bop It. Damn, remember Bop It? The game whose context changes forever once you're old enough to understand the connections between it and particular loot acts. Throughout the stages, progress will be monitored by its in-game grading feature called modes. These change depending on how well the player does during the game. There are 4 modes. Cool is the highest ranking, good, bad, and awful is the lowest, with good being the default when beginning the stage. By following lines normally, it's easy to maintain a good ranking. Players can achieve cool mode by making 2 cool-worthy lines in a row. If 2 lines are performed poorly, they will be demoted to bad and then awful. In bad mode and below, the music will distort with some type of duck squeaking being added to the song, and the stage will change to reflect how worse you're performing. Filling 2 lines on awful will result in a game over and a retry. The highest mode, Cool, will convince your current teacher that you no longer need their help, and they'll just peace out, and leave you to rely on freestyling, to varying results.
You hit punch, turn, did check, crack, did you check, crack, did you check, crack, did you check, crack, hit punch, turn, crack, hit punch, turn, crack, hit punch, turn, crack, hit, did you check, crack, did you hit, crack, did you check, hit, crack, did you check, hit, crack, did you hit, crack, did you check, hit, crack, did you check, hit, punch, turn, crack, boom.
All that is needed of you is to stay on the beat. What Parappa says will be restricted, but the phrases will change depending on what section the song he's currently on. And doing a good enough job freestyling will keep you in cool mode, with underperforming twice returning you to good. And then the stage with a good or cool mode are required to unlock the next stage, with finishing a cool mode usually providing an alternate ending, where the teacher expressing how proud they are of Parappa. It also slightly changes the plot to have a bit more of a positive outcome. Parappa has a scoring system with a very complicated logic regarding awarding points. It doesn't actually care whether or not you actually press the buttons being shown. To the game, it's irrelevant to an extent, though your press buttons do have to be timed correctly. It needs to be like this to allow for freestyling. Score doesn't determine if you proceed to the next stage or not. As stated before, the only requirement is for you to complete the song while under a good or cool ranking, so Parappa does have a score system that makes sense. It's pretty complicated, and knowing it doesn't make the game too much easier or harder. Anyway, going along with the beat will prove very challenging due to the game's copious amount of input lag that will gaslight you to thinking mistakes are your fault. Now, when CRTVs used to rule, this game ran fine. But it seems nowadays with all the different types of monitors and TVs, accepting the fact that there's going to be some form of input lag when revisiting this game is a given. On top of that, each individual stage feels like it has its own little specialized lag to overcome, which will make an easy game, well, I was going to say harder, but the game is still pretty dirt easy. Just prepare for some trial and error. These hangups get in the way of you attempting to play the game in a way that doesn't involve around mashing. I'm not saying it's impossible, it is, but even if you're good enough to get past these issues, the game will straight up just not accept things that sound perfectly fine, which might be the most irritating part for me. This can be felt especially when you're trying to attempt cool, which is designed to encourage the player to freestyle with their instructor's lines in order to enter. But since there's no real indicator for what is considered passable other than triggering the mode itself, this leaves the moments of just mashing buttons in order to satisfy some kind of requirement unless you have a good feel for what a particular stage wants, which gets frustrating when the game just doesn't want to cooperate with you. Stage 3 for us was a complete nightmare. Trying to get cool mode, and once we enter it, it was difficult to maintain throughout the entire song. Before we start talking about the game, let's quickly discuss the music in general. If you watch any of our videos, you can clearly see that we're not music critics. We're just trying to talk about a horny dog boy trying to become a dog man trying to get into the pants of a flower slut. With all that being said, the actual music to the game is fantastic and catchy as hell. Although the lyrics that accompany them aren't as good, most of them are fine, if a little simple. But considering what the game is, I can look past that. It's just some of the transitions into the next verse can be a bit clumsy and they don't flow as well. It seemed like they were just trying to find some random rhyming words, and don't get me wrong, this issue doesn't matter in the long run to a fantastic and fun soundtrack, but that little bit of strangeness does help the songs become that much more standout and memorable in my opinion.
Parappa the Rapper begins during a day out with him and his friends, leaving the movie theater after seeing the latest Jet Baby movie, which must have been made with some kind of DEI consultants because his gender is constantly in question.
Jet Baby was really awesome.
Oh yeah.
He can probably beat Superman.
Shut up. Boy, he sure is my hero.
Parappa and his friends, PJ Barry, Catty Cat, and Sunny Funny enter the local restaurant for some grub. As they find a seat to enjoy their meals, two bullies come by. I don't know their names, so I'll just call them Bulk and Skull, begin to bother them about wanting to eat their food. I mean, this is the 90s, all that couldn't have cost that much. So two broke ass bullies come by, wanting to eat their food and harass the girls.
Stop it!
Bulk and Scar stop when local pompous rich guy Joe Chin appears and proceeds to cause a big enough distraction for the group to leave, except for Parappa, who stays behind being in the middle of a daydream. Being forever thirsty and anxious, Parappa misconstrues Joe's overconfidence with him being a hero and impresses Sunny, and decides to immediately enroll into martial arts classes for the absolute wrong reasons, in order to have a chance to do the same.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya, nevertheless you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick.
Starting off with probably one of the most quoted opening lines in gaming history, more or less because the children who were introduced to this game through the demo disc can't get past lesson 2, is the first stage, Chop Chop Master Onion. This serves as the tutorial level, offering very simple charts to follow, usually consists of single inputs with nothing getting too complex. The music of the first stage has this awesome funky bass line through it that makes it feel like a 70s kung fu cop movie. It reminds me of Ninja Turtles, strangely enough, so I guess it gets the job done. The issue of the strange transitions begin to show here.
It's gonna get rocky, we're gonna move down to the next jockey now.
It rhymes, sure, but it feels random. I get his meaning, don't get too overconfident, the next part of the lesson is only going to get harder. But there had to be a better way to say that. Not sure if this is due to some translation issues, it isn't every single line, but you could definitely hear the thuds when they show up. Besides, that's not saying the lyrics aren't capable of churning out some bangers every once in a while like here.
Now, why don't you follow my words, because we're almost done. I'll make it easier first. I wanna see if you wanna see what it means to be the man with a master plan. Are you the man now? Here we go.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
The story behind the stage, as stated before, was Parappa enrolling into martial arts class in order to impress Sunny. And Master Onion seems to be all in on this idea, if this line is anything to go by.
Yeah, I see you're getting better. Kick to the limit in order to get her now. Kick.
I thought martial arts was mostly about self-discipline and defense. But I guess if the teacher is down for Parappa learning to impress girls and beat up on people who slightly bother him, then who am I to judge? Master Onion teaches Parappa all the quintessential lessons one would need in learning how to fight, such as kicking, punching, and blocking, some more questionable options like jumping, and some straight up moves that would get your ass kicked in an actual fight, like turning your back to the opponent, ducking, and posing in front of them. Trust me, I've been in my fair share of fights, and ducking the way Master Onion suggests us will catch you a nasty uppercut. Parappa should know better, being black-coded? I guess he's not, or he would have been a pit bull. Is he Spanish?
What should I do?
What is that accent? After a full day's lessons and Master Onion's eerie announcement of a next stage, Parappa moves on. Man, wouldn't it be funny if Master Onion just meant come back tomorrow for the next stage of his teachings, but Parappa just leaves thinking he's finished and never comes back?
Parappa never uses his karate knowledge ever again, until a spin-off game years later. The day after, the gang is seen at a donut shop deciding what to do next. Parappa, probably fiending to see some Sunny stem, suggests they should go to the beach. But Caddy immediately shuts this down, saying it's too far and none of them can drive. Before Parappa could tell her to close our damn mouth and take the bus, Joshin arrives in his super stretch limo 900. I don't gotta say it, you all know what it looks like. Being the stand-up guy that we all know he is, Joe offers to give them a ride, with the girls up front with him and Parappa and PJ in the back. While there, Parappa begins to daydream about having a license so he can take Sunny anywhere she wanted to go. But I'm assuming the fumes from the exhaust must be seriously messing with his head, because he imagines them on some type of plane, which he will obviously need a pilot's license for. Idiot. Stage 2 begin with the hood of the car flying off, which would probably be worth a couple of dock points right there. Also, what the fuck is this?
Step on the gas, step on the gas, step on the gas.
This is another easy one. I actually think it's way easier than the first stage, which makes me think that it might have been a toss-up between Master Onion and Instructor Mussolini for which one would be the introductory level of the game. That or the song is just way shorter than Master Onion's. Outside of the strange stretching of Parappa legs, there's not much to say about this level. I know, a lot of people like this song, but I've always found it a little weak when compared to the others, with this never-ending piano riffs that really grind on my nerves. Of course, it's not like I'm a total monster, It's not like the song is bad, it really isn't. I like the parts that everyone else like about the track. I like the boom boom boom, say bam bam bam, and the I forgot to close the door. Those bits are nice and fun. But I feel like you can just Clockwork Orange me with just this annoying fucking beat and program me to wipe out an entire village or something.
Maybe Parappa is black coded because as soon as he gains his driver's license, he immediately jacks his father's car without his permission. Like the first thing he did was get the license, walked all the way home, and jumped right into the car and peeled off. After trying to ape off Joe Chin's swag with the way he pooed up on his friends,
Hi!
fucking dork, he takes them for a ride. While the afternoon ride is looking to be a good time, Parappa is too busy daydreaming about wanting to take Sunny for a ride, and he causes a head-on collision that if this wasn't a cute little cartoon world would have easily been the last level of the game. The only thing that was damaged in the incident was his father's car, and now he has to come up with a way to get the money to pay for the repairs. Parappa hastily begins looking for a job, which has him ended up at a local flea market.
In the flea market so early. I've been working here since my mama was a baby. Just because the rhythm is slow, that don't mean that you can't flow. In the rain or in the snow.
I never thought about this before, but to a lot of younger people around Parappa the Rapper's release, this must have been their first introduction to some form of the reggae genre. I always felt this stage was a little underrated when compared to the first two songs because of the clear difficulty jump, which might make things a little less memorable because of players struggling with it. And that may be largely due to this being the stage with the most input lag in the game. Outside of that, the stage has some of the longest charts the player were encountered up to that point, but since the flow is a lot slower, it makes it more manageable. The song itself is awesome. I personally feel that this is one of the only tracks in the game where the music and the lyrics are in sync, and it doesn't feel like the music was made first, then the lyrics came after.
The 90s, where an afternoon of getting a couple of coins at your local flea market was enough to get your car completely rebuilt. We fell so hard as a society. Sunny's birthday is coming up, so they decided to throw her a birthday party. After a quick game of rock, paper, scissors or jonkin' for you weebs, they decided to workload. Parappa was tasked with getting the cake, so he makes his way to the store. Now we talk a lot of crap about Parappa being a horny simp for Sunny, but he's gotta be given some credit here. It's cute that he brought the smaller cake because it reminds him of her, as opposed to the much larger fancier cake because he believes she would appreciate it more. Speaking of larger cakes, on the way out he bumps into Joe again, as he begins to brag about the huge one he just purchased. Okay, I like Joe, but how old is he? If I recall, all these characters are around the age of 18, but Joe's design makes him look significantly older than the rest of them. That's probably the point, but I don't know, it just seems odd. Anyway, Joe's Sigma power level unintentionally causes the local soy boy to fall into his cake, and after geeking for a bit, he decides to run home, I think, and attempt to whip one up himself. Yo, we weren't expecting a song about a chicken cooking an awful sounding seafood cake with a beat that sounds like shopping music to go this insanely hard. Sheep Sheep starts off the stage by changing their rap game forever.
Every single day, stress comes in every way. I got no time for nobody. My style is rich, dope, fat, and rich. Let's make a cake today that looks rich.
Now listen! That's called motherfucking bars, nigga! You know nothing about that!
This, in our opinion, is the best song in the game. The saxophone and the scratching create such a sick beat, and it's perfection for such an unassuming premise to base a rap on. The lyrics are also at their strongest here too, with the intros to each lesson just being bars. Rapping in such a goofy voice add a lot of charm to this too. This chicken with antennas is spitting. This is widely considered to be one of the hardest levels in the game, and that might just have to do with the big chunks of input lag you have to deal with. Lag aside, there's very little to complain about with this song.
It's Sunny's birthday, which just amounts to a picnic. Thanks, Caddy, you lazy bitch. The others must have not enjoyed the cake seafood combo because Parappa begins destroying it. Later in the day, Caddy wingmans for Parappa and leaves him and Sunny alone. But before he can make his move, IBS moves first. While giving her a ride home, Sunny confuses Parappa's intestinal distress with him being bricked up, and he stops at a nearby gas station in order to dump out, but instead meets his various instructors waiting in line to go as well, and they decide to rap for the position, instead of just knocking on the door and taking turns.
I need to go, just as bad as you. What I had this morning, I don't even wanna say to you. Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
Kick, punch, turn, shot, door.
Or I will fall to the floor.
There's not a lot to say about this one, sadly. Each of the instructors reprises part of their song, but it's pee-pee poo-poo themed. The beat is fun, but that's it. Everyone just needs to take a shit.
Returning to the car, Sunny seemingly loses all interest in Parappa because she can't tell the difference between him being bricked up for her or him having to take a shit. Later, Parappa gets an invitation to perform at Club Fun. Who invited him? I don't think Parappa is a full-blown rapper or anything because he does this as a hobby. Maybe his t-shirt set it up for him, I don't know. Anyway, he calls Sunny to see if she wants to go with him. She agrees, which I guess is a date. They arrive at the club and Parappa goes on stage where the final level begins. Another Shrek where there's not a lot to say, it's just a victory lap to close the game out on. This is the first time Parappa handles part of the song himself, and he just proves why he really should be copying people. If I can recall correctly, this is a popular song among Parappa fans. I don't agree. It's not bad, but it's not Millennium Girl, so fuck off. The party goes off well, and later the friends go back to watch another movie, but seemingly just to watch the end credits roll. And after a strange sequel bait, I think Parappa the Rapper comes to a close. The original Parappa the Rapper is a pretty rough game when all is said and done. Some of the stages have annoying amounts of lag, the hit detection is spotty at best, and some of the songs can feel a bit phoned in when it comes to the lyrics provided. But all those issues can be easily looked past, because the actual music is fantastic and catchy. The story, world, voice acting, characters, or art style will never fail to be charming as well. And this is the only game in the series where it feels like each track was truly freestyled, as future titles will admittedly have more thought put into them and are better put together as a result.
Upon the original release, Parappa the Rapper was highly praised, receiving near universal acclaim. The game sold a combination total of 1,684,398 units between Japan and the United States. In 1998, at the inaugural Interactive Achievement Awards, Parappa the Rapper won an Outstanding Achievement in Interactive Design and Outstanding Achievement in Sound and Music. It also made several gaming publications' Best Game Of lists. The character of Parappa will go on to be one of Sony's most prolific mascots, standing alongside other popular Sony characters at the time, such as Crash Bandicoot and Lara Croft. Parappa being the first of its kind and managing to be as successful as it was, meant that the game would go on to influence multiple companies to attempt their own rhythm games, and Parappa the Rapper was usually used as a basic template. This can be seen all over, from Konami's Benami games such as Dance Dance Revolution and Beatmania, Sega Sama de Amigo and Space Channel 5, Ubisoft's Just Dance line of games, and even in the indie space with well-known Friday Night Funkin', which might be the closest game inspired by the series. But how did Nana Onsha handle a follow-up to the game that was so well loved? Turns out, the answer would be going back into her earlier concepts.
After the runaway success of Parappa the Rapper, Sony was all in on releasing another entry for the series, but Masura had other ideas in mind and wanted to create a spin-off. Artist Rodney Greenblatt was against the direction, but he was outvoted. Masura wanted to shift the series in a different direction in an attempt to get away from the rap genre, and pitched the idea of rock instead. Again, Greenblatt had an issue with the direction and asked a very reasonable question: what is rock music? And how was that going to work with the call and response gameplay that worked so well for Parappa? Because the teacher would say something and he would just have to repeat it. How were they going to emulate that with an instrument? At one point, the game's presentation was headed more into a psychedelic direction, but Greenblatt at one point suggests that the game should go more into a goth theme. The team disagreed with this, however. With the dev team being larger than before, there was more pressure on them to create another hit game. Greenblatt noted that the internet has gotten much more popular since the first game, and that actually aided in making development much easier as Masura and himself could share ideas much simpler, as they were forced to use a fax machine before. And in 1999, the Parappa The Rapper spin-off, Jammer Lammy, was released.
What an okay song! And now, we bring you an interview of each of the lovely members of Milk Can. Let's see what they're sort of like in real life.
Oh yeah, real smooth. Smooth as butter. We work real well together. Good chemistry. We're like family. Oh, this was our best work yet. We really worked hard on this, and we hope the public's gonna like it. Oh, Lammy, she's a tough girl. She's got real headstrong girls. She knows what she wants out of life. My son, heavy-hitting drummer, no doubt. Parappa's the hippest dog around. Master Onion, he's the best. We learn the most from Master Onion. Me! I practice the most. I think I do. Lammy might say that she does, but I think it's me. I like to skateboard. I like roller skating. Eating oyakadon. Yeah, the game, Jammer Lammy. No cutting corners. Boyfriend, smoyfriend. Hi, this is Katie from Milk Can. We want you to listen to our new single, Got to Move, from our new album, Make It Sweet. Hope you like the game too, Jammer Lammy.
That's a good idea.
First and foremost is some additional gameplay issues we forgot to mention in the Parappa The Rapper video. The sliding icon on the chart or rhythm bar is offsetted, meaning that what you see isn't where you're actually at on the chart. This might have added to the feeling that the game was laggier than it actually was. Also, on the bar, the buttons only appear on where they should be pressed, and there is no information about how long a section is, which leads to situations where there's little time to react.
Step on the gas, step on the gas, step on the gas.
Lastly, each song was structured behind lessons and maybe a little awkwardly. I'm not sure if this was predetermined ahead of time or something, but some songs like Instructor Mussolini or Cheap Cheap Chicken felt way too short, and all the songs have the necessary pauses transitioning between. Despite the issue of Nan Nan Onsha, or Sony for that matter, not doing a very good job of telegraphing the fact that this was indeed a spiritual follow-up to the original game, Unjammer Lammy, or just UJL for short, corrects mostly all of these problems. Actually, a lot more than we initially thought, since finally playing these games back to back. Something we would really do, just jumping right into UJL or Parappa 2. With the overall improvements in pretty much every area, UJL is much more comfortable with filling the rhythm bar with a lot more inputs. This can usually be misconstrued as the game being unforgiving, but it really isn't. Like what was said back with Parappa The Rapper, the game would take a sequence said by the instructor, either repeated or improvised, that would sound fine to you, but wouldn't, for whatever reason, be acceptable for the game. This doesn't happen in Lammy as often, as even if you're performing badly and are currently in the lower ratings, it's much easier playing your way back up to good mode just by following the guidelines or even freestyling, which, unlike the first game, is actually encouraged this time around, as the game won't instantly punish players right away when you go off chart. UJL still doesn't tell you what is considered a freestyle just like the first game, but it being more open certainly helps give players the idea of what the game expects from you in this area. These gameplay improvements, along with the much improved presentation, makes UJL a much smoother experience. Fixes aside, Unjamming Lammy trades changing the gameplay in a significant way for making the system more refined. There's a couple of small things added to the core gameplay. If heavily underperforming or correcting mistakes to increase your mode, the game will now jump players up and down them depending on the circumstance, instead of going through a "you're about to change mode" flash or prompt from the first game. While in cool mode, codes can be entered to enter fever mode. These are point modifiers that are multi-tiered and stackable. These codes are unique to each stage and the commands can be found during the loading screens. Lammy will gain several upgrades of sorts called effectors. The flanger, harmonizer, wah-wah, distortion, and reverb are obtained by completing stages, aside from the first and last, and will change the sound of Lammy's guitar when used. They don't affect the gameplay but add some customization and replayability to the game. Speaking of making different noises that don't affect the gameplay, Lammy can also use pitch bending in her whammy bar to alter the sound of her instrument further. So the actual changes to the gameplay are modest at best, but where UJL really shines is the much improved replay value. Additional gameplay modes are available right after completing the first stage, which includes both co-op and versus modes, and finishing the main single player game will actually unlock another single player mode in the form of Parappa mode. He appears as the protagonist of UJL with his very own story arc. I mean, it isn't much. He seems to be enlisted as something as a roadie for Katy Cat's band, and then for the remainder of the story, he's just trying to start his own band with PJ, which doesn't work out. I'm not entirely sure if the story takes place before or after the events of Unjamming Lammy, but I'm pretty positive it's a canonical event overall. But since Parappa isn't sipping for Sunny in this game, something he would usually do in any other game, I will personally consider this non-canon to the Parappa the Rapper universe. What's more important is that when playing as Parappa, all of Lammy's rock songs turn into rap. And just like the core game, all these tracks are really good. They really commit to the bit here, even to the point where the cutscenes play at a similar frame rate to the original. The game will also add co-op and versus modes featuring Parappa as well, with the instructor actually changing the style of song depending on whose turn it is. All this content blew us away when we were kids, and I still feel like it's really cool as an adult. Kinda like how discovering Kanto on Pokemon Gold and Silver, except not shitty. Maybe we should take the time to break down Parappa's section of the game, but you know, enough talking about him. He has the whole original game and a sequel to talk about. It's time to give the best girl Lammy her time in the spotlight.
The story begins in the same way Parappa did, with Lammy and her friend group who consists of a returning Katy Cat and a new character Mascot, who is apparently some type of mouse, and together they form the band Milk Can. I suppose there's a little bit of false advertising around here. Anyway, Milk Can is watching the latest entry of the Jet Baby series and goes to a nearby restaurant after. Lammy instantly displays her lack of confidence in herself, with Katy adding that it's okay because once she gets a guitar in her hand, she gains all the confidence she needs, and Monson teases her. Just then, Bulk and Skull shows up from the first game, with the exact same grip, which means they do this at least every day, with the very sight of them putting this girl in the full range of a panic attack. Katy proves her theory about Lammy by tossing her guitar and having her straight up just 2v1 these guys, which is a little uncalled for. But she is a woman, just claim it was sexual harassment and Bulk and Skull will be thrown in jail. Lammy does the face, and the game begins. Lammy is running down the corridor to her show, trying to make him an excuse to why she is late, with her coming up with it being a stomach ache and the line to the bathroom was too long. She arrives just in time for Katy to introduce the audience to Milk Can's new vocalist, Chop Chop Master Onion, who's a hobo now for some reason.
Remember, chop back again, yes forever. You have many challenges coming at ya. Fast to the fire, don't retire now, pick.
Nothing is going to show off the much more improved music than a remix of the first stage of Parappa. In this more funky version of their original, Master Onion will predict the events of the game throughout.
Listen to me now as I do my chore. No nobody ever talks to me no more. But if a baby want to come crying out loud, do you think you could play and calm it down? Or if you wanna play, how would you play? Throttle up and down, all the way. I just wanna know, can you really go without guitar in hand? I don't know. Coming at ya.
Like we said in our early look at Unjamie Lammy, while good, this song doesn't really fit Lammy because it's a little too rappy for my taste. I mean, it makes sense given what it's based off, but still, this song would have fit Parappa much more, and for some reason he doesn't get it. At any rate, it's a catchy track and it's a worthy follow-up to a legendary piece of video game music. After the performance, it's revealed that Lammy is playing a vacuum cleaner their entire time, which causes the audience to leave. Lammy is embarrassed and asks Mr. Onion what to do, and he responds with, what is she afraid of? She tells him about the vacuum cleaner situation and he tells her that he lost his dojo, but the memory of it is still on his mind, and it has a casino, and reassures her that she has nothing to lose. The fate of Master Onion becoming a hobo has always bothered me because it makes sense that this is all in Lammy's head. Other than him showing up in the final level of the game somehow, there's no other words said from another character, or himself even in Parappa 2 of the fact that he was ever homeless to begin with. I'm sure Master Onion has to be some form of public figure in Parappa Town, and Lammy's just dripped him up as a bum for dream logic reasons, the final stage notwithstanding, and the poster in the background of following cutscenes is anything to go by.
Speaking of which, when Lammy wakes up, she discovers that she only has 15 minutes to get to her big gig, which is why she set the alarm to give her that much time left. This girl doesn't want to be there. She rushes out of what I can only assume is her apartment, only to be stopped by a fire at a pizza place that's so bad that the chief blocked off all the major roads. Instead of just finding another route or just using the fire as an excuse once she gets there, she pushes her way up a crowd of people that includes a mother panicking who is loudly yelling that her baby is still inside, and demands that she's in a hurry and needs to be let pass like the Karen that she is. The chief in all his infinite wisdom gives her a fire hose and forces her to assist with putting out the blaze if she wants to pass. Feeling anxious, Lammy remembers that mantra not technically said by Master Onion, and she gains the confidence to take on the blaze. I really like this song. Don't know for the life of me what kind of subgenre of rock song this is, but it has that opening guitar riff that we all associate with things like the fire department. Well, I associate it with them at least. What I don't like is how laid back Chief Puddles is with putting out a massive fire, making it sound more like a performance than the actual duty to be done.
Turns out that woman's baby was a toaster. Lammy and Chief Puddles celebrate a job well done by eating some pizza. After realizing that she lost some time, she runs off but quickly passes out when attempting to do so due to the sheer amount of pizza she scarfed down. After she comes to, she finds herself in the middle of a parade of pregnant women and mobsters. Though I like the detail that they're all rabbits. Lammy meets Kathy Peller, a midwife who proudly proclaims that she was doing her duties for over 50 years, but still somehow confuses a bloated girl with a pregnant one. After discovering this, Kathy forces Lammy to assist her in rocking the babies to sleep. Also, for some reason, Kathy keeps throwing up this pink slime after every sentence. That, combined with the strange voice and the airy baby music, makes this scene come off way more creepy than what they was going for.
Now put these kids to sleep, will ya?
This song might be one of the more underrated ones in the series. It's really fun, super fast paced, great lyrics, and we don't bring this up much, but I do enjoy the actual stage it's based in, with it being entirely composed of Kathy's body, carrying around various babies in an attempt to put them to bed. Lammy practically scratches this baby face until it passes out. You really have to consider what she's playing is still what it is, and she thinks it's a guitar.
After helping Kathy and being told of the exciting offer she could have if she decides to have a child, Lammy is off once she notices she wasted even more time. On the way out, she accidentally slips on a skateboard and rides it throughout the streets. She happens to pass a departing plane. What? She needs to catch a plane? Why did she set her alarm to only 15 minutes if there was a whole plane to catch? Anyway, she boards the plane and meets Captain Pepper, a pilot who keeps switching personalities whenever a panel from the plane falls on his head, and he forces Lammy to help him fly the plane.
Never give it up, soldier. Give it more, put it on the track. Show what you got, soldier.
Jamming Lammy providing once again another banger. Well, okay, most of the songs in this game are bangers, so I'll stop saying that. Although this is probably the coolest song for me in my taste, seeing that it's heavy metal. There's a ton to like about this one. The sick riffs that play throughout the song, Pepper's dual personalities making some kind of strange duet, and that making for a great gimmick, and the plane rocking out to Lammy's back and picking. This is also where the game begins to pick up in the difficulty department, challenging players in both reaction time with its more short lines and accuracy because of the more complex button prompts. The stage is well done.
After landing the plane in a way that had to catch a couple of bodies, Lammy says goodbye to Pepper as he probably goes off to pull Chris Benoit due to all the headshots. Lammy once again hurries off, but soon forgets that she left her guitar in the plane in a rush.
I left it on the plane!
In a panic, she luckily finds a nearby guitar shop. Unluckily for her, the shop is out of stock. And as Lammy pleads to the owner, Paul Shuck, she insinuates that she be willing to do anything for her new ex.
Oh, please! I'll do anything, please!
Anything?
Casino here, casino there, casino.
Help! Go away!
You said anything, didn't you?
And you're not going to tell me she wasn't willing to take one for the team and then just Roe v. Wade this problem later. Is it too soon for that joke? I don't know if it's too soon for that joke. Continuing with our lucky streak, Paul's the upstanding guy, and he just meant that they just need to make a new guitar in under 1 minute instead. Mind you, cutting down the street take 15 minutes to an hour, depending on the street. I'm sure. I'm not saying he's not good at his job, but he's definitely cutting corners for sure.
Get up, turn your chains on. Power on, power on. Let's start with this tree here. Low gear, high gear. Hurry.
Another challenging one, and I know we said we wouldn't say this again, but this song is just so good. Like was said before, the entire UJL soundtrack is fantastic, but the final 3 stages in the game are, in my opinion, the strongest tracks in the series. It's impressive how Masora and his team managed to create such consistently fun music. I don't know how many ways there are to say the music is good, but it just is.
Lammy thanks Paul and rushes out of the shop, but her belt gets caught in a doorknob and it launches her clear across the city, and she lands in a distant island, where she's mistaken for another late guitarist, and now must play for the idol Teriyaki Yoko, who offers her a way home in exchange for her assistance. Of course, this is much different than the European and Japanese version of the game. In this version, Lammy rushes out of the shop as usual, but thanks to PJ, she slips on a banana peel, bashes her head on the asphalt, and fucking dies. Instant karma for the many lives she took landing the plane earlier. Her now departed soul enters the realm of hell, and as she confines herself to her fate,
it was a dream. Am I dead? Is this hell? If I'm dead, then the game's over. What a stupid game.
Yoko's agent Jack Smash grabs her and ushers her onto the stage to play for Yoko, who promises to return Lammy to the world of the living if she performs well. Both versions of the events are fine and still pretty much get their points across. Clearly, it's safe to say that the out-of-states take on the cutscene is not only better because it flows into the next scene smoother and easily explains another character's existence, but it's also, and I'm reusing the joke here, but it's death metal. Lammy believes the guitar is in her mind when she's actually holding the one she just built like 2 minutes ago in in-game time, and the show was on. The 6 stages in death metal, but instead some kind of pop gospel combination of music. Not entirely sure if it has anything to do with the Japanese idol scene, but I think it sounds quite nice. Yoko's vocals has always sounded a bit off, like she's capable of singing well, but instead goes for this creepy, unconventional approach. I suppose if you ignore the Force Island setting the game had to take for the US version, it certainly matches the unsettling hell dimension Lammy finds herself in, and combined with the backing chorus who kinda gets drowned out by the music, gives this song a otherworldly feeling. Her strange singing could also be a parody of Yoko Ono, judging by her name, Teriyaki Yoko. Adding to the changes for the US version, some of the lyrics had to be adjusted and scrubbed for any mentioning of religious elements such as angels, demons, and whatnot. It doesn't hurt the music too much, but the original is clearly the superior version. I also enjoy the fact that Lammy's actually playing alongside a band in this one, and I like to think that it kind of plays into the final level a little bit. This stage was always burnt into my memory as not only the hardest stage in Unjammin' Lammy, but probably the most unique track in the series, and I totally love it for that. A super distinctive song that can only come from these wacky character-based music games we used to get.
Well, yeah, my life has changed, I guess. People standing outside my house, they want to say hi and stuff like that. I guess that's different. Yeah, people are really nice to me and they say hi and they stop me on the street and they want to take pictures with me. It's kind of neat. I get kind of shy about it though. Yeah, I guess you could say I do feel disadvantaged sometimes because I'm not very good at talking to people unless they're my good friends like Katie and Masan. But, I don't know. Maybe people don't know what I mean if I don't speak up that often, so I guess sometimes I get in trouble. I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm not very good at waking up early. Sometimes I think my clock doesn't go off, but I could be wrong. I tend to have lots of dreams and, well, I don't wake up on time. But, yeah, I'm really late to concerts and things like that, but I've been really good lately, so getting better. Oh, we're great! I think because we were really good friends to start and we talk a lot, that we never get into fights. I mean, sometimes we argue about costumes and things like that, but for the most part, we get along great and we always go have a good big meal, a hamburger, fries, and a soft drink, and we're set. Well, I don't really like to fly, so I wouldn't fly anywhere. I'm not really good on planes, and I don't really need to go anywhere. Kind of like staying at home with my friends, so maybe I'd buy lots of guitars. Yeah, I'd buy lots of guitars, and I'd maybe buy a big laptop from Joe Chin. I would say sometimes I write songs because I'm sad or because I'm happy, or sometimes I want to cheer people up. But usually, Katie and Masan and I, we like to write songs to make people dance and have a good time. Dance to the rhythm and to the guitar. And that's usually the kind of situation when we write songs, is when we're together having a good time. Yeah, actually, I kind of like it a lot. I play it a lot at home, and everybody I know really likes it. Actually, I'd like to thank Parappa, PJ Barry, and Sunny also for helping us out, because without them, it couldn't have been as good as it is. I'm very satisfied. Well, I'd say the music and the rhythms. It's all really fun and fun to listen to and fun to dance to, and I think people would love it. So buy it. It'd be good for you to have. Absolutely. For all of you out there who think you can't do it, you can. You just gotta use your mind and believe in yourself and try again, and then you'll get it. Just keep trying and you'll get it. Simple as that.
Yoko is good on her word and return her from where she came in both the US and international versions, and it's through a fucking fax machine, which is hilarious. The machine then press out Lammy. She confronts Lammy for being the one who took her job and even challenges her, but Lammy hops into the machine before the issue can be escalated. Other than being a scene that can be viewed as a canonical way to set up the additional verses and co-op modes, Lammy's existence makes no sense and totally goes unexplained in the US edition, with it making more sense everywhere else because of the supernatural elements introduced there. But the most important takeaway here is that Lammy actually has a beeper, so that puts her pretty far ahead of Lammy, the girl who sets her alarm clock 15 minutes before a big show that she actually needs to take an airplane to get to. After a little montage, all three girls meet up at the big show at exactly the same time and simultaneously admit that they're late because of similar nonsense. The final song is Milk Can's Got to Move, also named Millennium Girl. And this has to be hands down the greatest piece of music in the Parappa The Rapper series. There's a reason why the entire story is centered around getting to the game staple final concert stage, unlike Parappa 1 where it just kinda happened disconnected from the plot. I don't need to go into any deep analysis of why the song is good, it just is. And I will say this, for a game that focuses on Lammy, Caddy completely upstages her on this level, and that always felt a little strange. But I suppose I'm looking at it in the Parappa The Rapper mindset, where he's the single focus. In this game, you're a member of a band, so I guess that kinda makes sense. And that's not to say Lammy and Mascot doesn't pull their weight, they totally do. But Caddy's the star here, and absolute credit must be given to Caddy's voice actress Michelle Burks for an outstanding performance. In typical one-hit wonder fashion, Milk Can gets a full-blown music video based around the song, and it even features Parappa to provide some bars from his version of it, which I always enjoyed the idea of him being a member of the band, but I guess he isn't. Not sure if the games ever confirmed this or not. At any rate, either it's the game or the music video version, Got to Move is a banger, and is one of the songs I suggest you listen to if you never heard it. Late in December of that same year, a Japan-only arcade port of the game was released entitled Unjammin' Lammy Now, which ran on the Namco System 12 board, and features improved visuals, animations, new songs along with the originals, as well as additional cutscenes which seriously add to the world of Parappa The Rapper. This version of the game focused on two-player versus, with each player using a special guitar-placed controller called a Guran turntable. I'm sure I butchered that. Anyway, the stages were made easier to compensate for this. This game was thought to be lost media until it resurfaced in 2023, where it exploded in attention and has since been archived. But come on now, we all know the real exciting part of Lammy having an arcade version on Namco hardware, right? That's right, Lammy could be a guest character in Tekken 8.
Get ready for the next battle! Tekken 8! New challenger!
Lammy!
Upon playing this again for the second time for the channel, I'm beginning to think honestly Unjammin' Lammy might be a perfect game. Now that doesn't mean that it's flawless, and there's definitely things that can be poked at as negatives. I feel like I'd be a tad nitpicky if I were to do so, but still. Overall, the game set out to accomplish everything it needed to do, fixing all the issues with Parappa The Rapper, every song being fantastic, and the game has so much more replay value to offer players, which includes a full-blown Parappa mode for people who might have missed him. He didn't even need to be here, but he is. But for how good all this is, and Unjamming Lammy is undoubtedly quality, I feel as though that this game is a massive reason why the series ultimately failed. Maybe I'll divulge my reason as to why I feel this way one day. But for now, let's hand the reins back to everybody's paper-thin hip-hop hero for one more go-round. Unjamming Lammy carried us well into the PS2 era, and we went a long time thinking that this was the final game in the series. Luckily for us, when we were younger, I don't remember the date exactly, we were out on that errand at a Walmart with our mom and dad, and we happened to catch a really cheap game that shocked us and immediately triggered us to ask our parents to buy it. Do you know what that game is? Yeah you do. The Legend of Legaia 2, Duel Saga.
I can't afford to lose.
He's back!
He
is back?
I gotta believe!
やろうぜまた一緒に PS2 でパラッパ2 4キュッパだ
PlayStation.
Say alright! Say oh yeah! What you gonna do? I gotta believe!
Parappa The Rapper 2 released in Japan in 2001 and 2002 everywhere else, and is the final entry in the series. I don't know anything about the development, and I'm sick of trying to find info about these games, so let's just get right into it.
Away, but it's okay. It's a Saturday.
Hey, watch that. Now is the time.
Parappa 2 plays very much like the two previous games, with Nana Onsha once again smoothing out the gameplay experience more than just actually changing it in any significant way. And because of this, the gameplay is further polished even that of UJL, which is already fantastic in my opinion. An issue the series always struggled with was in the area of communication and accuracy, and with one of the two much needed features added to the gameplay, now as you try to time your inputs, the game will actually overlay the button presses so players can see if they were too early or too late. Yeah, it's a small change, but the extra clarity certainly helps improve your game if you're having issues for whatever reason. Another much more important change is the new evaluation meter. As you clear more stages, this will appear between the rank and the score gauges, and will have the instructor of the previous stage appear in it. The blue meter tracks how closely the player is following the instructor lines, the orange meter tracks how much freestyling is done, and the purple meter follows the amount of swing the line has. Or to put it simply, imitation, freestyle, and funky flow. Each meter has a negative and positive display. Depending on how well the player performs the actions required for the meter, the hand will point left or right, meaning the player perform an action poorly or well respectively. The meter themselves will glow or darken depending on how well the meter's required actions are performed, and each of them represent your instructor's particular philosophy. Two of the more annoying changes falls on the Boxy Box practice segments. Who the fuck is Boxy Box, you ask? Well, that nightmare is kinda like Parappa's pet. He was created by his dad to protect him or something, and is an extremely minor character in the grand scheme of things. You can see his creepy ass in a couple of cutscenes in the first game, but he didn't really have any lines or character quirks until the anime in this game, and that's barely. Anyway, this dude will appear before the beginning of each stage, and players will have a chance to practice a small snippet of the current song. After this, the song will start. Don't worry, it can be skipped along with the cutscenes if you hold all the L buttons. This includes L3 before actually starting the stage, and holding it until the first record scratch. It's not a big deal, but I suppose the game doesn't outright tell you this information, so I can see how people can find it annoying. Another change people tend not to enjoy is the instructor stopping the song to inform the player if they're getting worse or getting better, which can admittedly be sort of pace breaking.
Getting worse.
Instructors will also replay the two previous lines to give the player a chance to earn their rank back if they're falling behind. Sometimes the lines will also be altered to make things a little bit easier. This, along with the pre-stage practice, seemed to be an overcorrection from the criticisms of UJL, being considered unforgiving to a lot of people. Like UJL, when completing this stage, it will unlock a versus mode that can be played with a friend or an AI. In this mode, both players are given a line to rap, and each player must try to improvise to get a higher score than the previous one. Beating the opponent will earn you a point, and 3 points wins the game. In rare circumstances, if both players get an equal score to one another, both players are given half a point. Lastly, the game has several difficulty levels that are represented by Parappa wearing different colored beanies, from blue to pink to yellow. When we're playing stages with these different color hats, lines will be remixed to make things tougher. The game can also be made harder with the use of a particular cheat code before entering the stage, which is done by pressing the R3 button, holding it downward, starting the stage, and then after the first record scratch, letting it go. The replay value of Parappa 2 isn't as impressive compared to UJL when it comes down to its sheer variety, with it kinda just messing with the difficulty and nothing else. But luckily, with the improvements to the overall mechanics, Parappa The Rapper 2 is a very fun game to play.
Stop me if you heard this one. Parappa and his friends are at the movie theater. To be fair, this opener's a little different because this one's a dream. A noodle-induced dream, in fact. Parappa apparently won a 100-year supply of noodles, and it was all he was eating for quite some time, and it has him a little traumatized. And I mean it too. Not even his favorite flower slut can give him enough drive to eat another meal with noodles involved. He even tries to evoke his catchphrase to power him up, but that doesn't work either.
I know! I got it! No! I can't believe.
Parappa, I didn't know you were such a baby.
See everyone? I told you Parappa's personality in Unjammin' Lammy was non-canon. Running clear into the distance to go rap his way through another 8 levels because he thinks Sunny's opinion of him couldn't be any lower than it already is? This is the Parappa the Rapper I know. After Parappa's clear display of manhood, running out of his girlfriend's house because she made some noodles instead of just simply telling her about his situation, him and PJ decide to get some burgers at their local shop, Beard Burgers, which is under new management by his son since the owner, simply known as Beard Burger Master, passed away. He's handed some normal burgers, they suddenly turn into noodles, and Parappa has had it and demands some damn burgers. Turns out that the shop has been doing so badly and people are so unhappy with the product since the Burger Master's son took control that the fucking spirit of the master comes from the depths of hell, judging by his accent, and invites Parappa to the back to come make some burgers with him. Parappa's just like, I gotta believe, and just does it. So let me get this straight. Parappa will run out of his girlfriend's house because she made noodles, but is completely gung-ho on cooking with a whole ghost.
That's right. I'm in the house. Here it comes. Extra, read all about it. The best burgers in town from all around. People from around the world come and get it. The line goes around like a merry-go-round. Cut. You got heat. Yes, very good. Heat. Very nicely. And toast. Toast. You got to cook. You know.
Well, it took 2 games, but we finally have a first stage that doesn't feature Chop Chop Master Onion, and that's completely okay because this is a pretty damn good opening level. The song is so catchy and energetic that you might actually notice yourself slowly head bobbing to the music. The level also channels some Cheap Cheap Chicken stage from the original game with how the voice of the Burger Master carries it, with him bouncing around, skating alongside Parappa's turn, possessing nearby equipment, and getting hyped before the end of the song. A really good start to the game and the best first stage in the series.
At least the news is here to report on a supernatural phenomenon that could change the concept of how society views the afterlife. Oh, he just reporting on how everything turned to noodles. Oh, hey Rodney, why is everyone so cool with this ghost just floating around? And it's not like he goes away because, spoiler alert, he's on the final stage dancing. Are floating? Moving on. Back at Parappa's home, Sunny's father, General Potter, is watching the news, while Papa Parappa is working on his newest invention, the denoodleizer. After explaining how it works, the two end up shrinking themselves, while Parappa and PJ decide to watch a romantic workout show hosted by the returning Shot Master Onion. See? He's stage 2 this time. The show's apparently strictly for adults, And since Sonny left some mental damage by calling him a baby, Parappa decides to give it a shot.
Yes, it is time to get romantic. Time to get romantic, yes indeed, that's for sure. The kick punch style remains very secure. Never bending, always a fast to make a move. This time we get down nice and smooth. Ha 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 ha. Love kick.
Love kick.
Love punch.
Love punch.
Love duck.
Love duck.
Love turn.
Love turn.
Love chop.
Love chop.
Love twist.
Love twist.
Love pull.
Banger alert, fucking banger alert. Romantic Love is the best out of 3 Master Onion songs. Come find me. Everything about the song is perfect and it makes it a little hard to talk about. Just go listen to it. You know, I've never thought about this before, but Parappa Dad is watching how all of it happens. And how can I phrase this? Parappa does more romantic things with PJ and this one gang than he's ever did with Sonny throughout the entire series. I just imagine him freaking out, yelling at General Potter, saying something like, "Oh God, I knew those two were fucking." PJ doesn't even enjoy when Parappa gets romantic. The least Parappa could have done was just thrown out a common courtesy no homo for the homie. Disrespectful.
Parappa and PJ grab the denoodleizer remote, which works like a normal TV controller for some reason, and hilarity ensues with the two managing to shrink themselves. After somebody's fetish moment, Monsan is next to get her hands around the controller and uses it to shrink more Parappa Town citizens, and she never notices because no one in this world has peripheral vision. But I like to think Monsan is doing this on purpose because she seems like the type of person that would do something like that. Down with Parappa and the others, they're freaking out wondering how to return to normal size when the level's instructor, Guru Ant, makes his appearance and spouts some nonsense which triggers one of Parappa's daydreams where he's living out somebody's fetish.
Yeah, you wanna be big, you wanna grow big. Revolutions all the time, people changing the world with crime, with violence and anger, hunger, whatever. I find that ridiculous, if not meticulous. I do my best to guard my own premises. What's your name? What's your name, fool?
What's my name? What's my name, fool?
What's that sound? Who that be? Huh?
What's that sound? Who that be? Huh?
Where you come from? Where you come from?
Where I come from? Where I come
Back to back bangers. Big is among the top 5 songs in the series in my opinion. It's so smooth thanks to the amazing instrumental and Guru Ant's vocals. Basing a song around an ant growing big and not understanding the changes in his body makes for a really good analogy for puberty. And if I'm not reading too much into this, them being scared is standing in for them not being prepared for the responsibilities for being an adult. Which makes this the first Parappa the Rapper song with a message, our life lesson. And don't get me wrong, I get that the games do have an overall message to them. In Parappa 1, it's about believing in yourself to achieve your goals in life in the face of hardship. Lammy is leaving the message of having a proper sleeping schedule, especially when there's a plane to catch. And Parappa 2 is about entering adulthood. But I don't think the songs are ever particularly about anything outside of what they're about on the tin. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. Anyway, Big is great. And that's even with the immature jokes that you can make about certain parts.
You think you're big? You think you're big, kid?
I don't like where this is going.
You came to the right place. I'll make you big.
Stop! Stop!
The main antagonist, the Noodle Syndicate, in particular Colonel Noodle, reveal themselves, and we get to hearing on their plans. Back with Parappa, PJ and himself enlisted in General Potter's forces as he sent the rest of his men out. He grabs the 2 of them because he wants them to be trained, a task he leaves in the hands of a trainer, Instructor Moesha.
Attention, attention! Come on, everybody, let's go! Hop to it! 1, 2, let's go! Come on! Fancy cars, no change, don't mean a thing. Words to your brain, things, my game. Ride the terrain, smooth with no pain. I come from the streets, no such thing as pain. Do the jump!
Jump, jump,
Do the flip!
do the flip, flip, double dutch, double dutch.
Don't lose the grip!
Don't lose the grip, lose the grip.
To the right!
Moesha's rap is okay. I love the instrumental way more than the lyrics, but the song do drop some lore and the stage does feature some nice throwback references.
My sister said, it's not as easy as you say. Remember that phrase again? When I say boom, 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 you say bam, bam, bam. No pause in between, come on, let's jam.
But I don't think it stands out as well as Romantic Love and Big, which isn't this song's issue, but those tracks is just amazing songs. Though once again, it has an infectious energy and is hard to hate.
Parappa and PJ receive their first assignment, which is at a Parappa Town barbershop. As they arrive, they witness many of the townsfolk rocking large afros. And as they go into the shop, only to find their hairdresser Octopus, yes, that's his name, they're beginning to sound like Mega Man X characters, okay? Parappa has to rap hairdresser Octopus into submission in order to free the citizens, but he's only doing it because Sunny is on her way. Damn, even as a soldier, he's a simp. More importantly, Parappa teams up with Milk Can in order to get the job done.
Everything will be alright. Okay, baby, let's go. We're going to do it like this. Trim, trim. Trim, trim. Trim, trim. Trim, trim. Cut, cut. Cut, cut. J, J. J, J. Trim, trim. Cut. Flip, trim, cut. J, cut, trim. J, cut, flip. Trim, J, I. Trim.
Hair Scare is another fun song in the same vein as Toasty Buns or Sister Moesha. Other than being one of the easiest stages to earn cool in, there isn't much to talk about here outside of the novelty of Milk Can providing the context for the music.
Parappa and his friends take the machine that brainwashed hairdresser Octopus back to Papa Parappers, who discovers that it's a rare video game cartridge called Food Court, and it's the source of all the noodleization. Food Court was never released because of the rumors of players who failed it being forced to eat nothing but noodles. So like Kitty MK Ultra. Papa Parappa prepares himself to attempt the game, but Parappa decides to play it instead, and despite Papa's disapproval, he allows him to enter the game, which was one of the non-Sunny motivated actions he's ever taken in the series. And I like the shit on him here, but that's some growth.
Hey everybody, watch out for those flying noodles, cause if you don't do well here, all you get to eat are noodles. Here we go.
Extra, extra, read all about it. I'm back for more because my store's a bore. I travel shore to shore, door to door, looking around for some perfect store. Come on, kick, pursue as you please. The jump master, come to your knees. Romantic, dramatic, but never panic. Original sensei, right round in the attic.
Revolutions all the time, people changing the world with crime, with violence, anger, hunger, or whatever. I never get scared, you all know the deal. Patrol my hood, keeping things for real.
That's inline skate or rock climbing. Don't forget the rhythm, groove, and keep rhyming. 1 in a million, I know that's me. Can you dig it? Come on, let's see.
Give it your best shot to keep yourself red hot, cause you're the one to bring out the original flavor for my people. Come on, kid, here comes the final.
Parappa 2's All Master Rap take place in the game of Food Court, and the objective is to throw noodles at each other or something. The music provided is just an 8-bit rendition of the previous stages. It's cute, and it's definitely an improvement over rapping about shit in your pants.
Parappa's dad finishes the denoodleizer, which I guess would turn things into sweets now? Just before they can put any road plan into action, the syndicate begins to attack the town. General Potter gives the order to attack, and Parappa's dad suggests that they can use his past adventures to assist with the attack. They roll out in their stupid-looking vehicles like it's G.I. Joe or Mask or something and head towards town. Meanwhile, the Noodle Syndicate are turning buildings and other things into noodles with their fucking ticks. During this attack, you see Sister Moesha running for her life. Why? She's part of the military. Help people. Anyway, Parappa and crew arrive, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but we get a full-on battle scene in the Parappa the Rapper game. Yeah, they're not actually shooting each other, just blasting buildings into noodles and then turning them back, which, how does that work if they reprogram the denoodleizer to turn things into sweets? After throwing some sweets that are apparently designed to kill those syndicate members, the gang goes to confirm the kills and the aftermath, and it turns out they were dummies. Parappa notices several cords leading to a building. Once they arrive to the source of them, it is revealed that Colonel Noodle is the Burgermaster's son. Colonel Noodle explains that because of him being a burger shop son, all he ever got to eat was burgers. His family ate so many of them that his mother became one. This could have been a workaround for her death or something, but this was disproven right away. So I guess she got fat? Or did she get gout or diabetes? Anyway, he resents other foods and praises noodles so much that his resolve is powered up by him doing his own I gotta believe moment, and challenges Parappa to a rap battle.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it down like this, y'all. I'm gonna let my man Parappa know that noodles rule the world. Yeah, that little slippery thing tastes so good all the time. Yeah, that's right. It goes a little something like this. Stay with me now, here we go. Like this. In parentheses, let me stress the fact clearly. No matter what the deal, I crave for this dearly. The so-called noodles that you find in spaghetti are sweeter than idols, do damage like machetes. Without a doubt, I got the flow coming at you live. Bring the place alive every single day I jive. With the thought comes my direct actions. Ask my followers, they'll say it's an addiction. Absorb it, suck it, I know you all like it.
The bass line drops and it's time. Colonel Noodle approaches his dark food-based reflection, and for the first time in the series, an instructor is antagonistic towards our hero. Look, okay, this is stupid, like really stupid, but kinda hype. I mean, if you ignore the lame plot surrounding it and just kind of take the moment in an isolated bubble and kind of brushing aside the sus-ass lyrics, it's pretty hype, right? Parappa is rap battling someone. There's nothing to learn, no one to impress, just two men going bar to bar. And Colonel Noodle really loves noodles because this Jewish kid is dropping heat. By lesson 2, Parappa comes to a shocking realization.
Long and chewy, occasionally gooey. The best things in life taste good, will chop suey. 8 minutes to boil and 2 minutes to eat. Admit it, kid, you know noodles can't be beat.
With all the times he tried to impress Sunny Funny, all his trials and tribulations, lessons learned, and his entire journey leading up to this point, he really should have learned how to rap better. That side Parappa expresses is a wordless admission that he is being pushed to his limits as a rapper, that Colonel Noodle's power level might be reaching heights Parappa maybe isn't prepared for. But just then, a good friend crashes in, giving Parappa the hope he needs to prove through this. Psych, you think Parappa actually did something? No, Colonel Noodle essentially defeats himself by hearing himself talk about noodles like he wants to fuck them, and he just reads the room. Hip hop hero my ass. Overall fun song.
The whole gang are at a picnic when Sunny turns on a boombox and a montage begins of Sunny activities during the events of Parappa 2. And now that we're here, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't like Sunny Funny. She's not good for our boy Parappa. All of his anxieties are tied to her being judgmental or low-key passive-aggressive towards him, calling him regular old Parappa or baby or something. The only time he was actually happy was during Jammy Lammy, a game where she's barely in. The sooner he stops simping for this flower slut, the better he'll be. Fuck Sunny Funny, and right, the prerequisite random final stage.
Again, the final party. Is everybody ready to do this? Well, come on, let me hear you say ho, ho. Say ho, ho, ho. Say ho, ho, ho. Now scream. It's party time. Come on, everybody. You can do is shake your body.
It's party time. Come on, everybody. You can do is shake your body.
Come on out on the floor. Rock it till you want some more.
Come on out on the floor. Rock it till you want some more.
Getting worse. Come on out on the floor and rock it till you want some more.
Another King Kong Mushi song. For some reason his design always triggers me, so just like Sunny, I don't really like Mushi all too much. With that being said, Always Love is a good song. I honestly think it's among one of the weaker tracks in the game, but once again, for Parappa 2, that's not a huge drop in quality. It's much better than the original. But there's only 2 of them, so yeah. Parappa wins a lifetime supply of cheese, and Parappa 2 comes to a close.
We strongly think that Unjammin' Lammy can be considered something of a perfect sequel, with the game sticking the landing with everything it wanted to accomplish. So how does Parappa 2 hold up? It's good. Really good in fact. Once again, the gameplay isn't terribly different from the first two games, but the slight improvements into things like communicating information to the player better goes a long way in my opinion. Like the rest of the games, the plot is stupid and charming, but it's supposed to be stupid, so I won't knock it there. But I did feel the wackiness oddly felt a little over the top compared to the other wacky story in Lammy. I can't really explain it. I guess it's because Lammy's story is just her getting to one location to another, trying not to be late for something she overslept for, and that's a little more relatable than anything we see in this game. The music is fantastic. Despite saying some of the tracks like Sister Moesha or Mushi being weak, they're still entirely fun listens and don't drag the game down by any significant extent. For the first time in the series, each song has like an underlying genre or theme to it, with that being this funk element. Each track still has their individuality, but I think it really fits well and keeps the music connected, for lack of a better word. My biggest complaint about the game, however, is the content. Lammy had great replay value, with double the song count with Parappa being included. And while Parappa 2 does have solid replayability, I can see it wearing thin faster because of the recycling of just 8 songs, and I feel it would have benefited from something like an additional game mode like the previous entry. Although adding Lammy back in would have been ideal, it doesn't need to be her. Maybe it can star another character who's more closer to the genre so the songs don't need to change completely if time was the issue. Could have been PJ's turntables, Monsan's drums, or even Caddy's bass guitar could have been a really good fit. But I get it. Lammy got away with that kind of thing because of the very fact that it is a spin-off to the series and not an actual sequel. Putting my issues with the game aside, and I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Nana Onsha still put a considerable amount of effort into this one, and while not better than Lammy in a couple of areas, it's still a great sequel to Parappa the Rapper itself. I couldn't find any numbers, but Parappa 2 sold much less than the previous 2 games, and didn't receive well critically, which is a shame because this is a really good game. I can't confirm this, being a rumor I read on the internet forum a long time ago, but apparently there was a Parappa 3 considered for development. But that idea entered development hell for various reasons, such as Mascot taking too long in the planning stages, the game originally being for PS2 but due to the delay in development was going to be migrated to the PS3. But because that system is infamously hard to program for, Mascot decided to cancel the project, to various conflicts of interest between Mascot and Sony which led to its cancellation. Whatever the reason, the Parappa series has been on ice ever since 2001 and or 2002, and other than being dug up for the occasional crossover game or crappy remaster, it's safe to assume the series will remain dead. So allow us here at TCB to pour one out for the homies.
It's a little sad to see such a beloved series fade away to semi-obscurity, but such is the fate of a lot of really young Sony IPs. And even if Parappa would have stuck around to the modern day, it would eventually somehow morph into an unrecognizable game that, despite how you feel about the quality of them, can't be denied that it's a far cry away from what it used to be, for better or worse. But maybe that's for the best. However you feel about games being considered an art form or not, you can take away the fact that games like Parappa and Lammy means a lot to a lot of people. And sometimes in media, some of the best art are the ones that don't overstay their welcome. We're thankful for all the TCB faithful who've been supporting the channel with your views, likes, and comments, and hope that everyone have a happy and safe Thanksgiving break. And we'll see you next time on Nostalgia-tards.
packets, got them packets.
Yeah, he's the package man.
Packets.
Yeah, he's the package man.
Packets, who needs packets?
Yeah, he's the package man. Yeah, he's the package man.
Got them packets.
Well, now you got me curious. I'm kind of thinking about buying it.
3 for $10, it can't hurt to try it.
Well, what exactly do I get?
Well, read what it says. Look at the picture.
Bet. It says Chinese girl, age 17, waist 24, hips 33. This one here says young.